Hey everyone, friends, foes. I had to take a break from moving because I hate it. I'm sick of moving. Um, and I'm going to be having a crew come tomorrow. A bunch of really great guys. My son, who's going to help me in one big move, get this over and done with. In the meantime, I'm packing boxes and cleaning up and going crazy generally. I'm making this stupid YouTube video because, I realize that, like everyone else, I just wanna. I live in Florida. I live in a really beautiful area of Florida, and the beaches are 15 minutes away. Some of the most beautiful beaches in the United States, probably the world. And that's where I'd rather be today, trust me. But like so many people, millions, tens of millions, in the United States alone, I'm struggling to make ends meet and do more than survive. I can tell you enough about myself that I know a lot about living, and I've had to look at survival also. My parents were doing it when I was growing up. I got married to someone who, at the time, I didn't know was marrying into money, but that's how it turned out. I mean, I knew of this corporation that my ex-husband family owned before I knew my ex-husband, and it was an Icon where I used to live, and it was nice while it lasted, at least as far as the ability to do more than have the necessities and to be able to travel, to be able to have some nice things that you want to pass down as heirlooms to your children, and to not have to worry about money. That's the primary thing, not have to worry all the time about it. That's a wonderful thing. Of course, that multi-million-dollar business that after the bubble burst in the housing market in 2008 went bankrupt in 2009, and this company was around for over 40 years. It's ridiculous. Be that as it may, I lost a business of my own. I was no longer able to go to school, and really couldn't afford to stay in the condo that I really thought was going to be, with the equity that it was building up in it, my retirement. Very, very foolish thinking. But like millions of others, we set to migrate. The good news is I was one person that was able to walk away with equity where I lived and be able to start building a life elsewhere. I have met with some really mean individuals where I live. I would have never expected such childish, like high school cliquish behavior. And there are cultures inside of organizations that you really have to dumb yourself down in order to be able to tolerate the situation. And also, I'm just too vocal. I just have a big mouth, and I accept this about myself. It's probably one of the primary things that's going to have me in real hot water later on, but there's nothing I can do about that. Not that I'm doing anything out of the ordinary, having a mind and loving people. When you have opinions, you have the audacity to express them, you can ruffle some feathers. That's just too fucking bad. But when I look at today's situation, and I look at how our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence is like in the shredder and gone, really, it's profoundly sad. Because I'm still old enough to remember what being on a beach unmolested is all about. And Labor Day on Siesta Key, you have sheriffs on horseback, ATVs, on boats going up and down the coastline, and then Coast Guard helicopters going overhead, all to keep us safe, you know. And it's disgusting. It's really disgusting, because they look like a bunch of little boys on their toys, and they're doing nothing other than navigating through blankets of families. It's disgusting. So you see this erosion of freedom from the perspective that I have, and I knew that the stomping upon of the Fourth Amendment in airports was going to get out of hand. And you have convicted felons, you have pedophiles, you have trashy characters with blue gloves on, ready to assist you. And then you have what I know in my soul is probably a fabrication of a psychotic mind that was drugged, that went into a theater in Colorado and mowed down people. I can pretty well not kid myself and admit to myself that this was probably a government operation, a false flag. If people just wrap their heads around the fact that they're lied to day in and day out by a criminal government, if we admitted how we were manipulated and lied to and used like cannon fodder, things would probably change pretty radically. If people got it through their minds that September 11th, 2001, that the towers were brought down in a controlled demolition, including the third tower that never had a plane slam into it. And, me seeing Larry Silverstein on camera saying that they watched the tower fall after the tower was pulled. I think it's BBC. It's still on YouTube. You can look at him, say it for yourself. And we're not talking about pulling people out of World Trade Center 7. They were talking about a demolition term of pulling the building, demolishing it. And that happened to all three. That's why these towers were able to fall in their own footprint the way they did. I asked myself when I watched the towers in real time, I said, why didn't the tower break off at the top at the impact of the plane at that point? Why didn't it just break off? Because I know that engineers and architects aren't stupid, and that those towers had the ability of being hit by planes in the first place. And and that's just from a layman's perspective. I'm just not stupid. And I got my answers. I researched it. I researched it a lot. And it is beyond me that these mass murderers have gotten away with it. I have lived with that since the time that I became 100% sure that it was a criminal action. I know about PNAC. PNAC. Look it up. I'm not going to do it for you. I know about secret governments and secret operations because I don't live in denial. I have children that I brought onto this planet. I don't take that for granted. I don't take for granted the fact that at my age, I don't know if I'm going to live to be a ripe old age. My mom died at 69 because of lung cancer and a heart attack. I don't know if I'm going to live to see 69. I don't smoke. I don't abuse my body. I eat a little too much, but, that's my problem. What I'm saying is, if the world were sane, I'd probably live to be 80, 85 years old. I might have a retirement home to go to. Maybe something on the water. Maybe just a retirement home. Don't know. But the way it looks right now, with the treaty being signed by the UN, I think something really horrific is going to happen in the U.S. that people just don't want to admit to themselves. The act of what happened in the Colorado theater happened after the planning and the writing of this international treaty for gun bans. They're going to start with semi-automatic weapons, and then it's probably going to move to small weapons, handguns. And I have one, and I'm not going to give it up. So use your critical thinking, and you tell me what's going to happen when they start confiscating guns. You tell me how that's going to look. I'm just a woman. I'm an older woman. And you've got these steroid-ridden, psychotic thugs that are ready from other countries. Because a lot of our troops, a lot of our police are great, stellar individuals. So if they stand down, it may not even matter. This is a UN international treaty. And the Second Amendment, as it's been said recently, and I agree 100%, is the teeth of the First Amendment. I mean, look at what has happened to our First Amendment rights. I mean, this is America. Everybody's watching us. Just let all of these freedoms that we took for granted being flushed straight down the toilet. And I have contempt and I have no respect for those who have willfully turned their backs on this country, that turn their backs on the truth of the matter, that turn their backs on their fellows. That's really all I have to say today. Just know that I'm not a gun-toting Sally. I'm an American citizen that has a gun to protect herself. And I'm not in denial of who's in Washington. And I'm not in denial of the rampage through even current day in countries that we have no business being in. Not even to mention those countries, the faction inside of the United States that are basically Zionists, Christian Zionists, Jewish Zionists, Rothschild Zionists, just on a search and destroy mission. So you can live in La La Land all that you want to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not one of those individuals. I'm just a soul seeking the truth. But it's so sad watching this unfolding disaster. And you know what I'm going to do very soon? I'm going to go to the beach. And I'm going to a place where there's a pool accessible. And I'm going to try and enjoy myself as much as I can. But I'm certainly not going to deny any of this. I'm certainly not going to be in full support of good men and women who are trying to expose the truth, because it's just hell being unleashed upon us. And I don't deserve hell. Good men and women don't deserve hell.